Chapter 3, Part 1, Test Review. The first thing that we're going to look at is we're going to look at this relation, and we're going to determine whether it is a function or not and find the domain in the range. So to find the domain, we're going to be looking at all of the x's, and we're going to put them in least to greatest order. So the domain is going to be 1, 3, 5. To find the range, we're going to look at the y's. And again, we're going to look at the y coordinates and we're going to put them into least to greatest order. So -4, -2, -1, 2. Now we need to determine if it is a function. So what we're going to do, it was going to only look at the x's. If I have any x's that match, then it is not a function. So this is not a function because I have 3, -4, and I have 3, -2. Now we're going to take a look at a graph and we're going to find domain range and decide if it is a function. So the first thing that I would tell you that you're going to need to do is to go ahead and put the ordered pairs into a relation so you can see what ordered pairs you're dealing with. So this is going to be -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, -2, 4, and this is going to be 0, 1, and this is going to be 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is going to be 3, -1. Now again, we're going to take a look at what our domain is. So for our domain, we're going to look at just the x's. And then we're going to put them into least to greatest order. So we have -2, 0, 3. Notice that even though I have 2 3's here, I only write it one time in the domain. Now I'm going to look at the ranges, and I'm going to do least to greatest. So the range is going to be -1, 1, 4, 5. Now I need to determine if it's a function. So I can do two things to determine if it's a function. The first thing I'm going to look at are my ordered pairs. You're going to notice that I have 2 3's, so that should tell me that it is not a function. And then of course I would write the 2 ordered pairs that I'm using to say that no, it's not a function. I can also go over here and do the vertical line test. So vertical line test is I can sketch a vertical line that only touches one point, sketch the vertical line that only touches one point, but when I sketch this vertical line, it touches 2 points. And so that again tells me that it's not a function. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to work with a table. So here's the table that I've given you of ordered pairs. The first thing that I want you to do is find the domain. So again, I'm going to look at just the x's, and I'm going to put them in least to greatest order. -4, -3, -2, -1. And then I'm going to find the y's, and I'm going to put them in least to greatest order. 0, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph them. So I'm going to do -1, 0, -2, 1, -3, 2, -4, 3. Now notice that I'm going to go ahead and add one more ordered pair. And since 0 is not in my table, I'm going to figure out what 0 is. So I'm looking at the pattern here. Oh, this one doesn't have a function. Sorry. So we're not going to add 0. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw our we're going to, okay, let's get rid of slope and proportion here. We're going to look at the function and we're going to decide if, we're going to look at the relation and decide if it is a function. So I'm looking at my x's, none of them repeat. So that means yes, it's a function. Also, with the vertical line test, I don't have any two lines that are on the same vertical line, so yes, it is a function. Now we're going to go ahead and look at some actual functions that we're going to plug in, some domains, and generate our range. So when I put -2 into this function, -2 times -3 is going to be +6. Now before I start generating my range, let's make sure we know, when do we subtract? The answer is negative. The answer is never. So we're going to do keep, change, change. So y is equal to -2 plus -3x. Y is equal to -2 plus -3x. Now I can go to my calculator and I can do -3 times -2 is +6 plus -2 would give me 4. -3 times -1 is +3 plus -2 gives me 1. -3 times 0 is 0 plus -2 is -2. -3 times 1 is -3 plus -2 is -5. And -3 times 2 is -6 plus -2 is -8. Now I can find my domain. Well, I actually used Hampton domain. So the domain is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. I'm going to find my range, but my range has to go least to greatest. So my range is going to be -8, -5, -2, 1, 4. Now I have to decide if it's a function. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my x's. I notice that I don't have any that repeat. So yes, it is a function. Now I'm going to graph it. So -2, 4. -1, 1. 0, -2. 1, -5. And then I have 2, -8. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. And you're doing this on graph paper, so you have plenty of room. All right, now I need to decide if it is what the slope is. So the slope on this one is negative. And is it proportional or non-proportional? So we can tell by the graph that it doesn't touch the 0, 0. But we also can look at our table, and this ordered pair right here tells us that it's non-proportional because it's not 0, 0. So it's non-proportional. All right, let's generate the next one. So the next one we're going to put in -2 for x. -2 plus 1 is -1. -1 plus 1 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our domain. So our domain is going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, least to greatest. Our range is going to be -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, least to greatest. I'm going to look to see if it is a function. Looks like a function because none of my x's repeat. Now I'm going to graph -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. I'm going to draw my line. It's pointing up to heaven, so it's positive. It doesn't look like it's touching my origin, but I go over here and look at my ordered pair. My ordered pair is not 0, 0, so it's non-proportional. All right, now I'm going to plug in x is -2, then y equals -2. When x is -1, y equals -1. When x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y equals 1. When x is 2, y equals 2. So our domain is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Our range is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, both in least to greatest. I'm looking to see if any of my x's repeat. They don't. So yes, this is a function. Now I'm going to graph -2, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. Draw my line. Reading from left to right, it is a positive slope. It does go through the origin, and it does have a 0, 0 in the table. So anytime that you're graphing and you're not sure whether it's proportional or not, you need to go put 0 into the equation and see if your answer is 0. If the answer is not 0, then it's non-proportional, but this one is proportional. And now you've studied for your quiz or test.